So welcome back, Info Knot Wars. I've got a 2014 Yamaha Grizzly 700. Now, this is not going to be the sustainment type video that Dirty Civilian did with their dirt bike. That is coming, I promise. This is going over a winch install that I purchased. So the winch from Harbor Freight, I bought the 5500. I know that's overkill for this machine, but I wanted the okay. Don't put that in there. That's dumb. Okay, here we go. But it has the synthetic cord, which I wanted. I did not want the stainless steel cable, just for safety reasons more than anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did. I wanted it to where I could mount it on the front, and then I could turn around and move it and put it on the back as well. So there's going to be quite a bit to this video. I apologize for the length of it, but we'll make it as fast as possible. Let's get to the front. So on the front of the bike, what I did was I went to Amazon and I did a search for the front mounting kit for this particular bike. Well, in that, because it's just a flat sheet of metal that's bent, of course, and bolts on, but I needed a receiver hitch as well. So I bought just a standard receiver hitch that you can buy just about anywhere. I notched the front of the little flat piece to where it would sit in there flush, and then I had it welded and then just painted it. So I'm going to show you this real quick and how it's mounted. I didn't really like the fact that it was going to sit way back in there anyway, in case I had to get to it in order to do something with it. So I'm hoping that the camera's picking this up, but this plate, which typically your fairlead would bolt here, obviously it doesn't now. So I've got it locked with just a pin, so if I get off the bike, nobody can just run up and steal this. Alright, so I've got it to where the cables will mount, will come through the bike, will attach here if I need to use it on this end or on the back end, and again I'll show you that. This has a little bit of wiggle room, even though I've tightened that up. I could probably tighten it a little more, but it's still going to have side-to-side play. So it's not rock solid like it would be if it was mounted here. It's going to make some noise as you're running the roads and you're in rocky areas and that sort of thing. So if that's something that really bothers you, then you may want to hard mount it, and that's fine. I just wanted it to where I could move it around. So let's move to the back. So now at the back of the four-wheeler, I bought the actual receiver hitch for this particular model, and so I installed that. Pretty self-explanatory. It was really straightforward. So as you can tell, it just mounts with two U-bolts. And then your little flange that comes factory from Yamaha here has got a hole in the bottom of it to where I put this bolt. Now I read Loctited everything, or maybe blue. Anyway, I put Loctite on everything, just so obviously it's going to have a lot of vibration, that sort of thing, and you don't want anything falling apart or some of it coming loose, and then when you need to use that anchor point, you can't because it's not solidly attached to the vehicle anymore. So how did I get all of this to work? There was a lot of wiring, So let me show you what I did and kind of where I routed things, and then hopefully that helps you in making your decision on where you put your wire and the relay and all of that sort of thing. So the activation switch, you actually have two. Now you have a hard mounted one that's just a rocker switch, and we'll show that. And then you also have a remote style. And then the remote, of course, has a port that you can use it or not use it. It's totally up to you. But I'll show you where I mounted that on the plastics. And then I'm going to put everything together as soon as I get finished showing you all the wiring and all that stuff. And then we'll fast forward through that. But that way you'll see kind of the finished product and how it all hides it and fits together and so forth. So the switch, I mounted right here to the left. So I put my fog light switch for the front here. I will be mounting an additional fog light, and so I'll probably just drill that one out, and for that in the back. So I put the rocker switch here, and it's a square hole or a rectangle hole, obviously, and they don't make drills that drill square, so, or rectangle, so you'll have to take your time. And I just took a Dremel tool and just kind of worked on that until I could get that switch in there. Now on the back side, because obviously the circuitry is open back here on the back side, so you can see on both switches, all I did was I took some good gasket material, and then I took some liquid electrical tape, and I just really colored those up really well, and then strapped that, of course, and then I ran it through. Now, rocks and sticks and those types of things, yes, it can get caught up in there and that get torn out and so on and so forth. But I really didn't have any better idea. I don't try to tear my stuff up and get in situations, but I understand that that's something that is very possibly going to get hit, especially with rocks on dirt roads and so forth. So the leads I have right here, and again, they are long enough to where I can run them to the front, I can run them to the back, so since the seat and so forth is off of it, but I run them through here, and then I've got just a little clamp, if you will, for the hose or for the lines to run through. So right there, and that way it just keeps them up and out of the way. It keeps them away from the tire or anything. And so with that winch in the back, it's on this side, and they just run right down to it. No big deal, and we're off to the races. Now the relay that these things come with is huge. This was my biggest issue, is trying to find a place to mount this. It's terribly crowded underneath there where the battery is, and I honestly just couldn't figure out where I was going to put it. So I pulled all of this apart and I started looking. Well, the top side of the air box, I drilled 2 little holes, and then I ran bolts through there and tightened them down with nuts. So this was secure, everything was secure. Here was the most difficult part, is this wiring on the back side, as you can tell. Let me add a little bit of light. So the lighting on the back side, these came with spade connectors. Well, they stuck out too far because, as you can tell, especially in low and in high, they were going to stick out and I would hit them, right? So that wasn't good. Everything else was fine. So what I decided to do was I just stripped those off and I soldered those to each connection. And then again, all I did was I used some liquid electrical tape on those connections, and it works just fine. So, I'm hoping that helps somebody else, because there is a lot of garbage that you've got to try to get hidden or installed to get all of this to run. All right, so we're going to put everything back together, and then you'll be able to see the final product of what it looks like and how everything's hidden. Okay, so we got it back together. I just wanted to show you where I mounted the port if you wanted to do the remote control, which I keep underneath the seat in a bag, in a plastic bag. So what I did was I put it up here at the front. That way you could get to it really easily. And it's out of the way, so nothing hits. So as you can tell, everything is hidden very nicely. I still, it's still crowded, obviously, inside. But when you put your plate back on here, everything hides really well. Now I had to, for the cables, I just had to make a little small notch here and here in the plastic, just so that everything would clear your remote valve or your remote plug, and as well as the 2 little wires that sit here, and then they That way they don't interfere and they're not constantly pushing this up, and it's pushing it up out of the rubber grommet. So anyway, I hope that helps someone who's trying to figure out, how do I do all of this and where do I put it? I didn't see anything else on YouTube. This is Info Not Wars. Please subscribe if you have an opportunity, which you do because you're watching this video. Thanks.